Welcome back. I went on vacation in February. For 12 whole days, my wife and I took in the warm spring weather and strolled around one of the most beautiful places in the world, Tokyo, Japan. I'm making this video mostly to serve as a scrapbook of sorts, for ourselves, for our family, and for our friends to look back on, but also as a fun video for all of my subscribers as well. And to those friends and family that are new here, yes, I make YouTube videos about video games. And watching this one is really gonna screw up your recommendations for a while. Alright, a quick aside before we jump into everything. Immediately after our first trip to Japan last March, I enrolled in a Japanese class and have been attending every week since. While I'm 100% a beginner, and I'm still working on even my most basic vocabulary, I can read and write hiragana and katakana and form complete, albeit simple, sentences. However, I'm sure I'm gonna make some mistakes in my pronunciation and grammar throughout this video, so I apologize in advance, and please feel free to correct me down below in the comments. I'm becoming more and more obsessed with old tech from my childhood, and for this trip, I wanted to bring along something really special to capture the experience. I brought along a JVC GR-AX-93OU, just rolls off the tongue, a compact VHS camcorder. This little handheld camera takes footage taken in 2026 and makes it look like it's from 1992, and there will be a lot of it throughout this video. I also had my Sony a6000 with me to take photos and higher res footage. On our first trip to Japan last year, we researched a lot of restaurants ahead of time because my wife is pescatarian. This time, however, we were a little more loosey-goosey, which led to some real hunger-fueled decisions. And this is a no judgment zone. We went to some Japanese food chains. Some we didn't realize were chains until we sat down and a robot was bringing us our food. And others we did, but the food is just good, okay? So sue me. And I gotta be honest, we never had a bad meal. We landed at Haneda Airport around 6 p.m. and rode over to our apartment in Shinjuku. Once we had unloaded our luggage, we decided to hit the streets and find a place to eat. We ended up at Nikujū Gyoza no Dandadan Seibu Shinjuku-ten, where I had gyoza and a beer, and my partner got maple tofu and a highball. It was very yummy. The sleepies from the flight started to hit hard, so we went to bed early to energize for the next day. Unbeknownst to us, it was the Emperor's birthday, which in Japan is an annual public holiday celebrating the birthday of the reigning emperor. You know, as the name suggests. This limited our food options a bit, especially earlier in the day, since most places either open late or not at all. We decided to go to Kakekomi Gyoza for breakfast. It's not really a breakfast spot, but it's open 24 hours, and all cards are on the table during vacation. From there, we wandered over to the neighborhood we stayed in last year for those nostalgic feels. Still early in the day, we went to Isomaru Suisan, fried chicken for me, and a sushi bowl for my partner. Continuing south, we walked through Higachiguchi, and I popped into the book off there. I poked around, but ultimately didn't find anything. As lunch approached, we walked north to Suganami City and had lunch at Higachiguchi, where we got ramen. A singing robot brought us our food. We then walked all the way back to Shinjuku and wound up having dinner over at Kizuna Sushi, where I ate a lot of sushi. lured in by the smell of butter, we started the day with some amazing pastries from Anpan-ya. I had a croissant cut in half and filled with apple pie filling. This would not be the last time we went here. After downing breakfast, we decided to travel east to our old friend, Tokyo Tower. We trailed past a medical district with really cool architecture. During a quick bathroom break, we watched a demolition crew destroying a building. That was pretty wild. Along the way, we stopped at our favorite ramen spot in Tokyo, Kumamen Roppongi. This unassuming little hole in the wall, situated right under the highway, has a classic pork ramen with clean broth and stellar toppings. I'd love to say that I had any footage or photos of it, but when I sit down, my mind goes blank and I just eat. The best part about this place is it has pescatarian options too, with my partner enjoying their soy and sardine broth options. While strolling past the Russian embassy, we saw folks protesting the Ukraine war. You love to see it. And there she was, Tokyo Tower. We had visited it during our last trip, so this was just a quick hello on our way to Higachiguchi, where the plum blossoms were blooming. This Edo-era garden is home to a tea house that's situated right in the middle of a saltwater pond, fed by the connecting bay, called Shiori no Ike, Shiori meaning incoming tide. The water houses striped mullet, young sea bass, goby, and eel, some of which leap out of the water in a dazzling display. I have roughly 22 minutes of footage trying to capture a fish flying out of the air, and this is the closest I got. Oh, no, I didn't. There's also a 300-year-old pine tree that I was quite impressed by, that a man walking by openly mocked me for filming. Rude. We hopped on the subway back to Shinjuku and ended the day with some yakisoba and red bean taiyaki. I love the rain. I love rainy days at home, and I love rainy days in Japan even more. Day 4 was a rainy day. It poured from morning to night. We decided to ride the train north to Saitama. When we arrived, we wandered around the dense mall area around the station, before heading north to a taiyaki spot that is only open a couple hours a day, and normally only has 2 flavors. But on this day, we found they had a special 3rd flavor, Sakura. So of course we got one of those, and a red bean as well. We found cover from the rain and dug in. It was delicious. We continued on and stopped at Yamanaka shōten to get some drinks and plan our next move. They had some great looking pastries, but we opted for coffee and tea instead. While looking at the map, we saw that there was a chipmunk habitat somewhere nearby, but unfortunately I feel like the rain would have made that a miserable experience. We did, however, find a ramen place that wasn't too far away, so we set back out into the rain to find Dumplings and ramen shop Miyoshi. Inside was warm and cozy, and I got exactly what the name suggested: ramen and gyoza, and a kirin biru. For good measure. It was so good, and we left full and satisfied. Since we had wandered so far from the train station, we decided to grab a taxi back. Before returning to Shinjuku, I wanted to check out the Sudagaya in the area. So while my partner perused the 100 yen store for stationery, I ventured off into the video games. What felt like minutes turned out to be about an hour. I had to refill my Pasmo card, and I didn't have any small bills on me, so we wandered around in search of change. I saw an advertisement for a book-off in the area that I wasn't aware of, and I figured I could find a way to make change. I found a few things, I got my change, and we hopped back on the train to Shinjuku. Day 5 was for Shinjuku. We decided to stay on the east side of the station and explore every nook and cranny. We started the day with even more pastries from Anpan-ya and more gyoza from Kakekomi Gyoza. We also had amazing onigiri from Onigiri Mama. I got one with tuna, and my partner got the salted egg yolk and simmered tuna. As we got up to leave, the chef noticed my camcorder and gave me a very accepting thumbs up. I popped into a small book-off in the Shinjuku Surugaya to get an idea of what the area had to offer for games, but wound up passing on getting anything just yet. And spoiler alert, that really worked out to my benefit. We also checked out an insane 7-story tall stationery store. For lunch, we stopped in Dandadan Shinjuku Higachiguchi, which had a huge lunch special, including gyoza, fried chicken, and miso soup that I easily destroyed. At this point, from all the walking around, my feet were hurting, so we figured it was time to find an activity that involved sitting. We did some research to find a cat cafe that felt the most humane, and found Mocha Lounge, where the cats are able to graduate and be adopted. I have lots of footage of the cats. Let's watch. After that, you want more cats? Oh, well, that's good, because I have even more footage of the cats. Anyway, after that, we wandered around aimlessly looking for something to eat. The hunger began to set in, so we stopped inside a fried chicken place that seemed to have some interesting options. It was pretty good, not gonna lie, but it was at this point that we realized some research needed to go into the food options that both of us could eat. Something we came to learn during this trip was that dedicated coffee shops don't always have the best coffee. Aside from a few key places that have killer cups, like Murrma Coffee Stop, they roast all their own beans and allow you to choose a flavor profile at the counter. We decided that instead of searching for a coffee place every morning, we just stop at the local konbini and buy a warm coffee. The boss never let us down. We started day 6 slow and easy, with coffee and laundry. We decided that today would be the day to revisit KKW Soft Cream, a small ice cream shop we went to last year. More on that in a minute. When we arrived at KKW Soft Cream, they weren't open yet, and we were getting hungry. So we walked a few minutes over to Menki Yashima Tomigaya, a soba place that was just about to open. And let me tell you, it was absolutely incredible. They were not messing around. I had the soba with pork slices, and as I'm saying this, I can feel the saliva building up in my mouth. After our early lunch, we walked back over to KKW Soft Cream, and they were open. So KKW Soft Cream, where do I even begin? Let's start with the soft cream and cafe. They have a very yummy, additive-free ice cream, orange juice freshly squeezed with Hokkaido oranges, and plenty of other classic cafe staples. Now, the KKW part of the equation is in reference to all the dogs that are part of the shop. KK and W are the initials of their black pugs, Kanbu, Katsuo, and Wakame. The dot is their previous black pug, Donbei. And if you turn the letter W over, it becomes the M of their previous Boston Terrier, Mameda. KK and W now occupy the shop while it's open, and they are so excited to see you and sit with you while you enjoy your food and drink. Let's just sit and enjoy some pugs for a bit, shall we? After spending an hour getting some pug love, we decided to head south through Shibuya. I got this cute coin purse and a tiny little gacha machine from a couple gacha machines outside a fabric store. We visited Cafe Toy Toy Toy, a cafe near and dear to our hearts that we went to last year. They have an iced apple tea that is so delicious, and I think about it regularly. The owner's 2 elderly chihuahuas watch over the place from their little bed. We started to get pretty hungry, and we just happened to be pretty close to Kumamen Roppongi ramen, so we decided to head back for more. I got the pork bone broth ramen, gyoza, and I finally got to try their fried chicken. Solid stuff. With tummies full and sleepies fast approaching, we walked back towards the apartment. We stopped at a cute book and stationery store and got some postcards as gifts. We grabbed a couple late night treats from a Lawson and called it a day. We found a different French place to have breakfast at. This one had all kinds of breakfast items like pastries, donuts, and sandwiches. On day 7, we decided to hop on a train and ride to Ikebukuro. Ikebukuro is home to one of my favorite, so far, video game shops, Super Potato. This location just has such good vibes and some really unique items among its shelves. I spent nearly 2 hours in there, filmed, and bought a bunch. When I left, the crowds everywhere were crazy. There were lines coming out of every single restaurant. My partner discovered that there was an anime convention happening, so we decided to avoid the crowds and head north to Itabashi. We found ourselves walking through a really cute rural area with lots of little shops and restaurants. We also happened upon Uogashi-sushi Itabashi, where we had some of the most insanely good sushi. I ate so much, I could not get enough. While walking around, we stopped at a family mart, and I got myself a little spicy chicken treat. However, this time, I dripped the oil from it on my shirt. Devastated, we went back to the apartment so I could clean up. After reviving my shirt from the brink of death, we wandered back out to T-Bar SABOTEN to rest and figure out what to do for din. We had an absolutely incredible experience there. What was so special about this place was the rather unorthodox way you could order your tea. The owner, who was lovely and let me practice my Japanese, asked exactly what kind of tea we'd like, between caffeinated or not, green, red, black, oolong, etc., and what notes you'd like, from floral, sweet, tropical. And he then curates a selection of teas that you can smell and try that matches your vibe. For dinner, we decided on Donaiya Takoyaki. My wife loved her takoyaki dish, and I had just an incredible garlic soba. It was definitely a little hole-in-the-wall kind of spot, but it was really delicious. It was a walking around kind of day. We walked through Koreatown, which was sort of a K-pop / idol area. We grabbed food at a Korean place, but it was nothing to write home about. Afterwards, we crossed the street and went to a Keio. They had fantastic prices on brand new video games, which I'll talk about in my Japanese video game pickups video. With our bellies full and my wallet notably lighter, we traveled through the quiet suburbs back to our apartment. After taking a little rest in a local park to spare my feet, we decided to grab a quick bite for a late lunch at Ramen Eddy, famous for its cappuccino ramen, which we did not get. Taking it easy into the evening, we went back to our favorite T-Bar SABOTEN to try some more brews. We got dinner at Gyopao Gyoza, where I got the soy milk soup dumplings, fried mini gyoza, and my wife got the Taiwanese noodle that she highly praised. I got food poisoning. On this day, my wife lived for both of us. After heading to the pharmacy to get me some meds, she went back to Onigiri Mama and a discount grocery store, which she said would be our grocery store if we lived there. Meanwhile, I barfed my brains out. I gathered my strength, and we went back to Ikebukuro in hopes to explore again on a less crowded day. I visited a huge book-off location, but didn't find anything. Then we wound up just wandering around the east and west sides of the train station, exploring different streets. We poked our heads into a little stationery store and grabbed a few cute items. Afterwards, we took the train back to Shinjuku to rest my weary tummy. We had dinner at Gibitsumi Udon. If you're ever in the mood for a solid udon and tempura, this is the place. My wife said the tempura egg was a delicacy. I got plain soba and a chicken tempura. Maybe a bit brave for how my stomach was doing, but even in my delicate state, I finished off the meal because of its divine excellence. This is a place you go to with an empty stomach full of gluttonous energy. With the end of the trip looming, I knew I had some final items to wrap up my wish list. That list being mainly video games and some treats for my Japanese class. We headed to Surugaya in Shinjuku. As if it was meant to be, their stock had completely shifted from my first visit. My dream had been to find a fun edition of the PS2, and as luck would have it, my dream came true, which I'll talk about in my Japanese video game pickups video. We walked south along the train tracks and around the park back to our apartment. We then got dinner at Zen, an okonomiyaki place that had vegan options. Later that night, I grabbed some treats for my Japanese class from a duty-free shop, and some more medicine to soothe my aching tummy. We woke up, gathered our stuff, and said goodbye to our apartment. Since our flight wasn't until the evening, we used a service to drop our luggage off so we didn't have to lug it around. Is that why they call it that?
Is this thing on?
We went to afternoon tea after a recommendation from the owner of Cafe Toy Toy Toy, and it absolutely lived up to our expectations. The apple tea was lovely, but I will say that the Indian chai is not really an Indian chai. Masala, more like masal not.
Get it?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
From the window of afternoon tea, I could see a book off across the street that I had no idea was there, so I had to check it out. Around the corner, we found an arcade, and I knew I had to play my favorite if they had it, Chun Itham Verse. Here's me playing on super easy mode. I did bump up the difficulty during the second round, but the only footage I have of that is facing me, so as far as you know, I'm just waving my arms wildly around for no reason. These two folks gave me permission to record them playing My DX Prism, and I was thoroughly impressed with their skill and synchronicity. Dang, look at them go. With a half day or so left before our flight, we decided to do one more stroll through our old neighborhood. My wife went to her favorite My Basket location to fill up what room was left in her suitcase. We went back to the JR station, picked up our bags, and headed to the airport. Also, my wife puked on the airplane for all 13 hours. The end. Even though I got sick towards the end of the trip, it did not mar the experience one bit. Almost everything we ate was a standout, and I had such a blast looking for video games. Japan, I'll miss you, and I'll be back soon. And if you enjoyed this video, I'll have a separate video showcasing the gaming goodies I picked up in Japan coming soon. I'll link everywhere we went that I would recommend down below. And if you have any questions about my trip, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh hey, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. This video is a culmination of 2 months of work. A rewrite, a reshoot. I just wasn't happy with my original vision, and so I ended up going back in and changing quite literally everything. But I'm really happy with the result. I'm filming this second outro, this deleted scene, this post-credit scene, after just finishing editing the whole thing, and I couldn't be more ecstatic for everyone to be able to see it. My friends, my family, all my subscribers, I can't wait for you to get to watch this. And I really hope you enjoyed it. I really just wanted this to be a memento of the vacation. Something that I could look back on at any point in time and just remember how much fun I had. And honestly, I'm just glad everyone else can enjoy the ride as well. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching. I really and truly appreciate it. Abolish ICE, free Palestine, and fuck AI. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.